YouTube Oz going. The Goat House is back. The March Madness bracket is out. I got my 100% accurate predictions for you guys going round by round all the way to the Final Four and my finals prediction, of course. If you're new to the channel, we have full NFL coverage. It's a busy time of the year, so you're going to want to join us for all that. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Follow us on Twitter. A lot going on there. Links to important things and recent videos pinned down in the comments section. So we made a bracket challenge group, and you'll join it through our Twitter. I'll put a link in the comments of this video so you can play along. We'll see who wins it. All right, and we're using ESPN for that. So I'm gonna fill out my bracket with you guys right now, break it down. So start at the top in the West, obviously. We're going to go with Gonzaga over Georgia State. Don't have to go too in-depth about that one, but it would be wild. Boise State and Memphis, 8-9s are always tough. I went with Memphis. They've been one of the hotter teams in basketball the last month or so. Really, they fell short, obviously, against Houston in that championship game, but they figured something out in the second half of the year under Penny Hardaway. UConn and New Mexico State. I'm going New Mexico State. Got to go with the 5-12 upset here, 12 over 5. UConn's a pretty good team, though, so it's tough to do it. But UConn, a little inconsistent scoring. New Mexico State, they can shoot the ball, so I'm going to go with the 12 seed there. Arkansas, Vermont. Don't know a whole lot about Vermont, but decent team. People keep saying that they could upset Arkansas, but I'm going to take Arkansas. I think they've picked up their game recently as well. Tough end of the SEC tournament, but other than that, they've been playing pretty good ball. Alabama or that play-in game Rutgers/Notre Dame. Alabama, about a month, maybe a little bit more than that ago. Serious team, legit team. Don't want to say they fell apart, but they declined quite a bit recently. It feels like, of course, you could say this for any team, but feel like they really rely on being hot, shooting wise, which they are a solid shooting team. I went with the upset on this one as well. I mean, between Rutgers and Notre Dame, I was kind of feeling Notre Dame because they've gotten a lot better over the second half of the year as well. Still a little very inconsistent, but I'm going to go with the upset on that one. I'll take Texas Tech over Montana State. Michigan State versus Davidson. Went with the upset on that one as well. I'll take Davidson, a tough team. Michigan State's tough too. Just feeling Davidson. Duke and CSU Fullerton. I'm going to take Duke. Go to the south side of the bracket. I'm going to go Arizona, of course. Seton Hall, TCU, back and forth on this one. I went with TCU. Some pretty good games recently out of the Big 12. Tough conference. I'm going to take TCU on that one. Houston, UAB. UAB could be tricky, but Houston's a real good team. Play real good defense there. Do got to work on those free throws. So Illinois and Chattanooga, people hyping up Chattanooga, and this one could be an upset. I'm going to take Illinois. Coburn, one of the top players in the country, obviously. So I'm going to take Illinois. Will they disappoint like last year, though, which wasn't the first round. So Colorado State and Michigan, so tough. Michigan had a rough go, especially down the stretch. Some maybe wonder, why should they even be in? Should they be in a play-in game? And that's why I'm picking them to win. Not really, but I could see them winning because of that. But it's such a tough one for Colorado State. You draw a Big Ten team as an 11 seed. Like, it's so tough. Michigan's going to play them real tough there. I think they're going to take care. Colorado State's been so good, though. Had problems with UNLV. I think Michigan can figure something out. Kind of get that chance to game plan for that first game. After that, it's just really about who shows up. But game planning for that first game, I think Michigan will be able to do that. So I'm going to take them. Tennessee over Longwood there. Tennessee wins the SEC. Impressive run there. Ohio State, Loyola, Chicago. I don't think you can pick against Loyola, Chicago in the tournament. Maybe not quite the same, but still they might be. They're still a very, very dangerous team. Going to play very, very well on defense. Going to really annoy teams. So I'll take Loyola, Chicago. We'll take Nova over Delaware. Let's go down to the East. Baylor over Norfolk State. Flashbacks to Norfolk State when they beat Missouri in the first round there. They were the 15th seed, though. I don't know if they're making it happen as the 16th seed against the defending champs. North Carolina Marquette. I'll take UNC. St. Mary's versus playing game, Wyoming or Indiana. Indiana was pretty impressive in that Big Ten championship run. Are they maybe made for the tournament? Maybe. And you can pick them or Wyoming here. St. Mary's is pretty solid. They beat Gonzaga. There's a reason for that. They play very good defense. I like these defensive teams. Teams that play real sound on defense are dangerous. UCLA and Akron, I will take UCLA in that one. Texas, Virginia Tech. I'm not going to go against Virginia Tech right now because they are hot. I like riding at least a game with the hot teams here. Virginia Tech surprisingly winning the ACC championship, obviously, and after that buzzer game, they look legit. Watching that Duke game the other night, they look like a legit team. It didn't really look like a Cinderella fluke thing. They looked legit on all phases. So I like Virginia Tech over Texas. I like Purdue over Yale. Murray State, San Francisco. I think I saw that San Francisco's favored, even though Murray State's been fantastic this year. So maybe they're set up on that one. I'm still going to take Murray State. I'll take Kentucky over St. Peter's. Over to the Midwest, I'll take Kansas, so all the 1 seeds. San Diego State and Creighton I've been back and forth on because Creighton's playing some pretty good ball, and I recently watched them. It looked pretty good. I think they probably can do more damage in the tournament compared to San Diego State, but head-to-head, for some reason, I'm leaning towards San Diego State. Well, not for some reason. I think because their defense. I think it's not a bad matchup, but I like the matchup for them over Creighton. I'll take Iowa. Just won the Big Ten. They're hot. Looked real good on both sides of the ball, both sides of the court there. So I'll take Iowa. Providence, South Dakota State. It's an interesting one because Providence is a very solid team, but man, it was like 2 months ago. South Dakota State was a team I've told myself, pick this team to win in the first round. I thought they were going to be a 12 seed. I really did. So I'm surprised they were a 13. Then they got screwed on that. But I kept telling myself South Dakota State's a very good team. They can shoot. They're consistent. Pick this team to win in the first round of the tournament. So I'm going to stick with what I've been saying to myself. I'm going to take South Dakota State over Providence in the upset, 13-4. LSU, Iowa State going with another upset. LSU turns the ball over a little too much for my liking, and their whole coaching situation there. So I will take Iowa State. I'll take Wisconsin over Colgate. I'll take USC over Miami. I'll take Auburn over Jacksonville State. All right, so we're going on to the next round here, back up to the West. Gonzaga, Memphis. Memphis is dangerous because they're so hot the second half of the year. They might have been hotter than anyone until they just lost to Houston, so that was the only slip up. So could they cause some problems for Gonzaga? I think Gonzaga would present some problems that Houston showed Memphis in that title game, plus some more scoring. I'll take Gonzaga. I'll take Arkansas over New Mexico State. Don't have the 12 seed winning twice. I'll take Texas Tech over the play-in teams as well, which I think will be Notre Dame, but Texas Tech would handle both those teams. Davidson and Duke could be a good game. Man, where Steph Curry came from, where Seth Curry came from, a little bit of a Curry battle here. I'm going to take Duke, though. But I do worry because they're inconsistent, little sloppy, played very poorly against Virginia Tech in the ACC title game. They got to the ACC title game at least. Down to the East, we'll take Baylor over North Carolina. I think Baylor's about to get a little healthier. Cryer should be back because he was kind of game time, to my knowledge, the most recent game. So they should get healthier, which it's a very dangerous team. They were absolutely the most dominant team last year. Don't have a guy like Mitchell anymore. But then St. Mary's and UCLA, such a good game. Both teams, I think, kind of built to cause problems in a tournament because they can play pretty solid defense. St. Mary's a little more impressive on defense, but I'm going to trust UCLA scoring a little bit more in what will be a defensive game. So I'll take UCLA. I do like St. Mary's, though. Virginia Tech and Purdue, man, Virginia Tech just looks so good, and they show that they're a tournament team, and this could actually be somewhat of a similar matchup to Duke. Like in that ACC title game, they can present some problems, kind of take away their bigs from being a total factor, which Purdue kind of, I don't want to say relies on, but almost. But I'm not going to predict it. I'm going to predict Purdue to take care of business. Purdue to start the year, we'll talk about Purdue in a little bit. Murray State and Kentucky. Murray State could be dangerous, but I'll take Kentucky in that one. over here to the Midwest. We still got to do. Yep, we'll get up there. I'll take Kansas over San Diego State. Iowa, South Dakota State. South Dakota State's that team I told myself I'm picking in the first round no matter what. Could they just keep going with that shooting of theirs? They could. I'm gonna take Iowa though. I think they've gotten better. I mean, it's easy to say that after winning the Big Ten conference title there tournament, but looking better on both sides. Can definitely score. Obviously, Murray's a problem. I'll take Iowa. Iowa State, Wisconsin. We will take Wisconsin. USC Auburn, I really thought about this one because Auburn's not playing. Cause they were the top team for a bit there. They're not playing as well. I could see USC pulling off the upset. Some of these Pac-12 teams could be sneaky. We saw it last year. I'm still going to go Auburn. Oh, that's a tough one, though. Back up top, Arizona, TCU. Definitely like Arizona in that one. Houston, Illinois. Man, should be a good one. This is one of the tough. This is probably the toughest one so far. Houston plays real good on defense. Illinois shooting is a little inconsistent. Sometimes relying on Coburn. I think Houston can cause those problems, but I think Coburn causes some big-time problems for Houston at the same time. It just is Illinois on or off on that. And I'm gonna take Illinois in that one. It's a tough one. Michigan, Tennessee, definitely like Tennessee. Loyola versus Villanova, I feel like pretty much the same teams in this matchup. I mean, they're both gonna play incredible defense in this game on each other. It's going to be about who can make those buckets. Nova's sneaky with the three balls. Loyola's going to be so good at defending them. They're going to take the best part of your game away. And I think Loyola can get things opened up, underneath the basket offensively. I'm going to take Loyola. It's just, will they do it again? It's kind of hard to see them do it again, but I'm predicting it. They're just such a dangerous tournament team. It's kind of like these matchups. So we got Gonzaga and Arkansas. Arkansas could win that. I'm going to take Gonzaga, though. I think Arkansas a little inconsistent on scoring. So now we're in the third game of the tournament. Are they due to slip up a little bit? Those are the teams I'm looking for. There's a lot of those teams that are kind of like that. Could they stay that consistent across the board? Texas Tech and Duke. Duke's been slipping up, a little inconsistent. Texas Tech. Yeah, Texas Tech plays some real good defense. I'm going to take Texas Tech in that one. I know. Give Duke some problems, maybe what Virginia Tech did. A team like Virginia Tech was able to do it. I'll take Texas Tech. So Gonzaga, Texas Tech there in the Elite Eight. That's what is it, 1 versus 3. We got Baylor versus UCLA. I'm banking on Baylor getting healthier, mainly with Cryer, obviously. I think he'll be back. It could blow up in my face. I'll take Baylor. That should be a really good game. Purdue and Kentucky is a really tough one. So Purdue, a month, 2 months ago was probably my team. I'm like, this is probably my team I'm picking to win it all, but there's a lot of season left. Really like Purdue. They kind of had a little bit of everything. Could have been better on defense, but they got the dominant big in Edey. They have Ivy, who's fantastic as well. Find ways to score in different ways. So I was loving Purdue. They got a little cold. It really feels like teams are figuring out how to defend them, and they're not the best at defense at the moment either. Kentucky is, they slip up a little bit. You look at that. You look at the Tennessee game. The good thing is they were kind of in that game. But they weren't really anywhere near their game, which is kind of like a good thing. But in a tournament like this, could the one slip up night like they had? Could it be it? I'll take Kentucky just because Purdue. It feels like teams have figured them out. But it is a little tougher. I can almost argue myself. It's a little tougher to game plan when you're playing in this big tournament, when you're playing game after game. So I'll stick with Kentucky. That's a tough one. Kansas, Iowa, Wisconsin, Auburn. I know I like Wisconsin in that one. I like their defense. They also can score. They do rely on Davis a little bit. But and then Kansas and Iowa, I think two teams that can straight up score. I just love Iowa playing how they play on that Big Ten run. So I'm gonna take Iowa. Then we got the Big Ten matchup: Iowa versus Wisconsin. I just think just a straight up offensive game. I'm gonna take Iowa. I think Iowa might play a little bit better defense recently, not probably in the whole year. I'll take Iowa. I was kind of feeling the upset there. We got Arizona. I'm gonna take Arizona over Illinois. Still not super confident about Illinois over Houston even, so I gotta take Arizona. Tennessee, Loyola. I don't think Loyola goes further in that. I'm going to take Tennessee. They're fresh off a impressive run in the SEC tournament. So we have Gonzaga versus Texas Tech, Arizona versus Tennessee, Baylor, Kentucky, and Iowa. Big Ten battle, Iowa and Wisconsin. Gonzaga, Texas Tech, they met earlier this year. I think Texas Tech has the right way of playing defense on them. I just don't. This is kind of the limit for Texas Tech because they're not the best scoring team. So they play such good defense where they're going to be a problem. They can make a run, but they got to play a lot better offensively. I think they get by this point. So I'll take Gonzaga, Arizona, and Tennessee. I'll take Arizona. It is tough kind of having Tennessee go this far because they've kind of been a little disappointing in tournaments in the past. They've had really good teams, two really good runs at the same time, kind of a mixture. But Arizona, yeah, they got some good bigs. They could shoot. They've been very consistent. Just judging that Pac-12, but the Pac-12 has been pretty good in tournament play recently, at least some sneaky teams. Baylor and Kentucky, again, banking on Baylor being healthy, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Baylor. I think, Kentucky kind of has a limit too because when will they kind of get a little cold like they did, against Tennessee? They had a pretty bad shooting night, which they almost won the game still, so it's good, but they have to stay consistent. Another thing is they're one of the best teams at home. Obviously, doesn't mean a lot at this stage. So I'm going to take Baylor there, but I do like Kentucky's run, though. They have a decent shot. They could, produce tough. Iowa and Wisconsin, I love the way Iowa's playing right now. They've shown they significantly got better. They can score. Murray's a problem. This specific matchup, though, I like the way Wisconsin can defend Iowa. I'm actually going to take Wisconsin. So we have a 3 seed going to the Final Four there. And 3-1s, which I don't really love myself for, but I just playing the matchup. Gonzaga and Baylor. I will take Gonzaga. Will Baylor be 100% healthy at this point? Arizona, Wisconsin. I'm definitely taking Arizona on that one. They will limit Wisconsin. Yeah, I don't like that matchup for Wisconsin at all. Arizona, not going to score a lot on Wisconsin because Wisconsin plays pretty solid D, but they'll find ways to score. Probably use their bigs in that game. I think they'll really limit Wisconsin. So we have Gonzaga and Arizona, who definitely feel like the best teams to me right now. And I'm feeling Arizona. I'm definitely feeling Arizona here. Could Gonzaga slip up? They could slip up a little earlier in this. It just feels like there's one team that's just super consistent right now and have different ways to score and play pretty solid defense. Just looking across the board. So that is why I'm feeling the Arizona Wildcats as my tournament winners here. So curious to see what everyone else has, so you can comment. We're talking on Twitter, but you can join this tournament challenge through our Twitter. I'll put a link directly to that pinned in the comments of this video. But that wraps up my bracket. Again, if you're new to the channel, we have full NFL coverage here. That's what we specialize in, so join us for all that. It's a busy time of the year with the free agency and the offseason in general starting right now. So check out our Twitter while you're at it. But that is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.